We've got the Sanderson Farms Championship tonight. Let's talk about it, Pat. Let's talk about the golf course, the key stats. Then we're going to get into our DFS plays, some strategy there. Our boy Scotty Scheffler coming back after the old Corvid went up and got him. So let's learn a little bit about Country Club of Jackson. We in Mississippi.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out Mississippi State, by the way, taking down LSU over the
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, we appreciate that as Bulldog
Yeah,
fans. We appreciate
I'm okay with
that.
that. As bad as our dogs looked, at least we had that. Anyway, yeah, Country Club of Jackson. It's a great course, kind of an old classic style course. It is a par 72, playing almost 7,500 yards. We've got 144 players in the field this week. T65, as always, will and ties will make the cut. You know, the course, as I mentioned, it's kind of an old school feel, has a kind of a Donald Ross like look to it, even though he did not design it. You've got relatively small kind of raised greens with some runoffs. That in general makes me look at strokes gained approach. You've also got Bermuda grass, tee to green. So we're back on Bermuda this week after the paspalum we had last week in Mexico. But these greens are relatively easy. I mean, there's not a whole lot of undulation. They're not going to get them very quick by tour standards. So should be pretty easy to putt on these greens. It is fairly tight though off the tee. But you've seen in the last couple years a little bit of a trend because, you know, you look at like 2015 through 2017, you had winners like Malnati, Gribble, Ryan Armour, who we call Ben Little basically Ryan Armour, Sean Von Ben, because just hits fairways.
He plays golf like Ryan Armour.
Yeah. But the last couple of years with Cam Champ and Sebastian Munoz winning, I mean, they have just bomb and gouge this course a little bit. So the game has changed, I think, with this course. I do still want to look at the ball strikers and your guys that are accurate off the tee. But I think Cam Champ kind of gave it it's kind of like almost like let's not compare Cam to Bryson. But, you know, Cam did sort of give a little bit of a blueprint to be able to bomb your way around this course and win out here. And the key is definitely on these par fives. They're actually relatively difficult par fives by tour standards this week. And so if you're scoring well on the par fives, hence maybe having a little bit of distance, you're going to have a good shot to win this week. Typically, we see around 18 under, 19 under win, just like we saw last week. So you're definitely going to have to score. I'm looking at course history. I'm looking at form. I mentioned par five scoring. I think strokes gained off the tee shows well. If you look at the last couple years, the guys up in the top 10 off the tee, they were, or in the top 10 as far as the finishers, were all up there in strokes gained off the tee and also approach. So those are kind of the two main stats there that I'm looking at. I mentioned all the past champions. So there you go. That is the quick rundown, DB. Any thoughts, concerns?
I had a thought while you were talking because I'm thinking about this tequila and I got to go. I'm getting up in the morning to do the gym thing. So I wanted to go grab my holistic CBD and get ready to recover.
Are you going to put that in your tequila?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is what you do. You take the holistic CBD, you pull out the little stick, and it's water soluble. You can literally put it in anything: coffee, water, alcohol, whatever. It's just a little stick of CBD, and you just pop it like boop, and then you pour it in your tequila, and then you just stir that. You just stir it up, and then you take it, and it starts working. So this will help me recover better tomorrow. But anyway, our friends at Holistic CBD you got limited time. If you want a CBD hitter, you got limited time to keep taking advantage of the promo code TJ25. Gets you 25% off anything you order on holisticwellness.com. That is holistic, HOLISTIK wellness.com. Promo code TJ25 for the 25% off. But we've been using these things. They got them for like digestion, recovery, beauty, sleep, and stress. Those are the ones. They start working very soon because they are water soluble. Just put it in any beverage. Just stir it around. Very little taste to it, so it doesn't affect really the taste of what you got going on, and it dissolves pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and just gets right in the old bloodstream.
The recovery ones are kind of my go-to. I'm having to recover a lot from various things. Stress is one. I like to do that like right before I'm about to play around. because I don't want to be all jittery and stuff
Jittery.
on the first tee and on the putting green.
Yeah, we need to make sure, my member guest is next week. We need to make sure that you have plenty of those stress sticks and recovery sticks on hand. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're going to need to have those. I like this. My favorite is actually the sleep ones, because sometimes, like, I don't know, I guess just getting old. Like, sometimes for no reason at all, I just wake up in the middle of the night and I'm wide awake. And I'm like thinking about where my birth certificate is, or what what is my prostate okay. Like, I think about all these random things in the middle of the night. So the sleep one kind of helps me just go on and stick in the old rim. You know what I mean? Anyway, holisticwellness.com, HOLISTIK wellness.com. Promo code TJ25. It's your last chance. Get that hitter. Get that CBD hitter. All right. Pat, I don't have any other thoughts about the golf course other than I do think you mentioned kind of a changing of tides in terms of the player that can succeed here, and what Cam Champ and Sebastian Munoz proved to us the last couple of years. In fact, I even think Cam Champ is quoted as saying, he basically realized that he would just rather be in the rough and have a shorter club at this course, because the greens are receptive enough that you can do that. They're not small greens. They're not super undulating greens. So, I think he proved that, but I don't think distance I think this is the key. Distance is an advantage, as it always is. But unlike a lot of courses, I don't think it's a prerequisite. I think you can I think you can be a little shorter and still succeed here. I think similar to last week, this does come down to a lot of guys who are very comfortable putting on Bermuda and scrambling out of Bermuda. But I look at this and think 6 times in a row we've had first time winners. 6 times in a row, first time winners at this event. It can happen. And even though we're getting a little bit better field this week, I still don't see it much different than I did last week, where there's just not a huge gap, between the top tier and down below. So especially in terms of betting, like, I'm going to be living again in that mid-range to long range. I just think anybody could come up and play well here in this 19-20 under event. But I'm definitely leaning distance, leaning Bermuda specialist. Scorers, obviously ownership's going to be a thing. We'll talk some lineup strategy and structure here in a second. But so I think that's it for me. I think that's it for me in terms of the course.